And thanks for joining us right here on Midday Kentucky. What are you cackling about?
You're just killing me.
Okay.
Well,
I just want to say one
He's
thing.
Like, how many days till Christmas? How many days till Christmas? Giving out charges left and right.
Well, I just want to know because it's the 1st of August and that's
Yes.
why you got a bit slipped up. You haven't been here since, I haven't seen you since last Wednesday.
know.
And you were sick yesterday, so welcome back. You've got
Thank
you got a nice glow on your skin, doll.
Thank you. I did get a spray tan on Saturday,
That's good.
but no, Friday. Well, I think it's gone now.
Yeah,
but-
probably. But it was Katie was the one that told me to head on down to Columbus, Ohio. I have to say Ohio because I can't say Hawaii. I can't say it in one word.
Ohio.
It doesn't
And
come
you
out
liked
of my
Ohio, right?
Australian
That's my
mouth.
home city, Columbus.
Absolutely fantastic. I had a wonderful time. And I was wondering, could I live there? And I think I could live on Short North. Because there was lots of bars and restaurants and fashion, and there was this really wonderful candle store. And I'm going to find it out and try and get it on the show because I thought it was a great business for someone who would be semi-retired.
Oh, okay.
I can't, it's candle
There's
something.
a very similar candle store like that in Mount Sterling that
Oh,
I
there is?
walked by. So I'll look it up after. If you
Oh.
know what I'm talking about, send us a message.
Okay.
But there's a really cute little shop there.
Got you. Hey, we're trying to find out how many days till Christmas, but no one seems to want to answer me here at the studio.
Oh, there it is.
Oh, here it is.
Dusty to the rescue.
Our new fantastic producer, Miss Dusty. 146 days. Hello. Where are we going?
Oh my God.
It's insane. I wanted to ask you girls, now we always talk about, yesterday I went to the esthetician and had my nose waxed. And I was sitting there thinking about manscaping and
That was
things
awful,
that
by
men
the
are
way.
doing nowadays. And do we like someone who is sculptured in the body? Do you like, well, we know you like a hairy person. We know you like into the hair. Well, you've said it on the show.
Yeah.
Let's be real.
Yeah.
In fact,
I'm not into the
I met
manscaping.
someone the other day at a lunch that I was at, or a dinner. And
Where?
I know. Anyway, it was just down the road here, and they were talking about you, and I said, she likes a Greek man. Have you got a son? They do, and guess what? They own the fur shop. So I'm going to deck you out head to toe in mink. So not only will you have fur in the house, you'll have fur on the body as well.
Oh, that'd be fabulous.
But I wanted to show you this. And everyone's talking about how back in the 70s, men used to wear the buttons down to here.
Oh,
Do you remember
yes.
the days?
Yep.
And how it's all come back.
Ah.
All right, so
Nice.
let's bring up these pictures, and they're basically saying that this is what men are now doing, and do girls like this? Let's bring
Okay.
up these shots, and it's talking all about, this is the hot fella, we all know
Yeah,
about
yeah,
him.
yeah.
Right, right.
But that's all the chiseled chest. Do you know what I mean? And men showing off their chiseled chest.
Okay.
Do you remember a few
Okay.
months ago, the dad bod was the look? Let's bring up the next picture. Tyson Beckford, we can just skim through these pictures. I don't think we need them all up there. Like, I don't know, do you girls think it's hot to see a bit of a muscled chest?
I think it is. I think, for certain events, I think it might be fun. Like
Certain
if you're going
event-
out.
well, I
yeah,
don't
if you're
think-
going out
Like the
at night
pool?
or something.
Look,
yeah,
here's
or
how
at
I
the
feel.
pool.
Here's how I feel about it, people.
Like, I don't like that.
No, well, that's probably a little bit too much. I don't think you could wear that on Midday Kentucky.
That's where you draw the line.
That's where I draw the line. And I don't know about, they showed this. This was the article and these are the images that they showed, Bruno Mars. I couldn't understand why they showed Bruno Mars because he had like a buttoned up top.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's that muscly, is he?
And
Isn't he little?
I don't think so. He's kind of smaller
Yeah.
in stature.
Well, all I say is, if you got it, you should flaunt it, man or woman. And I think you put a lot of work in to get a body like that. Everyone should enjoy your hard work.
Yes,
That's
yes.
the way I look at it.
Okay.
What do you think?
No, I'm not a
You
fan
don't
of
like-
the
you
male
don't-
cleavage. I don't like the
Oh.
male cleavage.
I don't mind it as
Cover
long
it
as
up.
it's as long as it's as long as it appears attractive. I guess.
And what do you consider attractive?
Well, the chest, if they've been working at it, that's all fine and
Well,
good.
do you think a male cleavage should be hairy or waxed?
See, that's where it gets kind of iffy because, Harry can get really out of control. I can't
El
believe we're talking about male.
natural. That's
know-
just weird. It's too
Yeah.
feminine to me. Like guys like
Okay.
waxing their. I don't know. I know some people like it. For me personally,
Yeah.
just like the
Well, all I
natural
can
look.
say is it was a strange thing that was coming into my head as I was getting my nose waxed. But people said on my Instagram page, some of my friends were like, we are now on the ground laughing that only you would do something like that. But I cannot stand, let me tell you, a man that's not groomed. And when I say that, there's nothing worse than chatting to someone and they've got nose hair hanging out of their nose. Agree?
Right.
What?
Yes.
You don't think so?
It's just gross. Yeah.
It's disgusting.
I mean, you know, I try not to be that detailed.
Or if you're
when
going
I'm
to have a
talking to
beard,
people.
groom the beard a little bit.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? I
yeah.
don't want to see what you ate last night.
Right.
Agree?
Right.
All right, so this is the consensus. Maybe not so waxed. A little bit of a chiseled chest, maybe?
Yeah,
We'll see. All right, and this one loves
Dad
halal.
bod, hairy chest.
Tell us
That
what you
works
think.
too.
Head over to our Facebook page. I'm sure you put it up there on our...
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you know I
Okay.
did.
This is something that I thought was really important. Now, I don't know whether because you come in super early, but I will be honest with you. I only started driving when I moved to America, as you know,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I will nod off a little bit at the traffic lights when I'm in the car.
Do
It's
you
just
really?
sometimes I just... Do you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's an issue.
Yeah.
What about you?
That is an issue.
with your... Oh. Okay, but what about people who are driving long amounts of time? You know, there is issues when they're falling
Yes.
asleep at the wheel.
I
Oh
used
no,
to drive a lot.
I've been tired. I can think back to like long road trips, but I would always stop at that point
All right.
before I would
I got
fall
you.
asleep.
Well, this next story, falling asleep at the wheel, could become a thing of the past thanks to a new piece of wearable technology with a shocking solution. Driving long distances can cause drowsiness, but Steer, which is the name of the product, will deliver a jolt of electricity when it detects you are drifting off. Now, the device's onboard sensors measures changes in the heart rate and sweat secretion, two signs that wearers are suffering from fatigue.
Yes.
Okay?
I love it.
Oh, do you?
Yes, I do. I think
But
that's great.
here's the thing. It comes up with a little yellow light, but if you're nodding off, you're not going to see the yellow light. Okay?
Okay.
And the jolt of electricity, if you're asleep or nodded off, all I can say is if they're going to jolt you, won't you be shocked and steer
Steer off the
over
road?
this way
Yeah.
as well?
Well, if you're going off anyway, I think this is a great
Just make
idea.
it
I think
fast.
Let's
it's a
just
good idea.
wake you up before you die. Is that
Before
what
you
s-
kill other
yeah.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
I think it'd be a good idea.
I used to drive a lot with my previous job, and I know I would get really tired and start kind of getting sleepy and all that, and I'd roll down the windows, I'd turn on
Yeah.
the music, do everything I can. So something like this, and I know, you know, a lot of truckers are out there, you know, working crazy hours when they're driving, so I think this is a great thing. I really do.
Well, it's funny because, you know, driving around in Australia, we have very long roads going into the middle of Australia, and they're very monotonous, and there's a lot of accidents on those roads. And as I was driving to Ohio the other day, don't you love how I say that? Ohio. When I was driving there, I could feel myself getting drowsy, so I did turn on the radio and you know, wind down the window. But I thought to myself at a time, I thought, am I tired, or is it just my eyes being tired from the drive?
yeah, from being hypnotized. Remember we talked about that
Yeah,
too,
we talked about
with
that,
the
yeah.
hypnotist
Just
that came
zoning
on.
in.
Yeah,
This is a good
and
idea,
you
I
just kind
like
of
this.
get into that zone.
Okay, well, here's something else that could be a bit of a problem. Alcohol and memory. And it's talking about, you know, you're saying that if we now drink more, that, and, you know, we've got our next guest on talking about alcohol. Are you saying that we're more intelligent?
No, not at all. That's not what I'm saying at all, Troy.
I don't know, dear. You tell me.
Well, okay, so here's the deal. What research has shown is that people that drink can remember things from the previous day better.
So this goes out the
So-
window of all the girls and guys that say, oh, I got so drunk last night, I can't remember what I did.
No, not exactly.
Oh.
What the study was, okay, here's what they did. They got together 90 people, and they split this group in half, and they had half of them drink as much as they want. And before they did the drinking, they took a test. They did a task test. And then they drank, and then they came back the next day and took the test again. And the people that did not drink, that other half of the group that did not drink, did worse on the test the next day than the people that drank. And even more so, those that drank the most in the night before actually did the best on the test the next day.
Well, probably because they were focusing more because they didn't want to fail.
Well, what they said is because of the fact when you're drinking, you do not remember things. As you're drinking, your memory is not as good. And they looked at that in the test as
But is
well.
that
And other
true?
studies have shown that
Oh, right,
too.
okay.
But they said the next day, the effects of this takes about 24 hours. And so once a person has that 24 hours into their system, they said what they think is that the brain shuts off any new learning while you're drinking, and then the alcohol is being processed the next day in the body, and it helps you be able to remember because you haven't learned anything new because you were drinking.
Oh, I
So
find
now you
out good
focus more on
information
the
if I'm
previous
having a
things.
drink with someone. Let me tell you, I learn a lot. Don't you agree? Like, seriously.
You really can.
Yeah.
But
Well, this
it
is
just
about
sharpens your
retaining
memory.
what happened
Retaining.
before
Yes,
the drinking.
the retention.
They're saying what you do before you're drinking,
yes.
you drink, and then you'll remember what happened before, but not
Yes.
while you're drinking.
Not while
that
you're
stuff.
drinking. You don't remember
Before.
the events of while you're drinking. It's before. If you take a test or any the previous day's events, you can remember better. And those that drank more actually remembered more.
Okay. Fascinating. I love your surveys.
Now, we're not promoting, drinking, binge drinking, or anything like that. It's just, some little nifty little information. That's
Tell
what
us
we're
if
saying.
you remember anything before the segment. Okay. When is it appropriate to touch people? And I'm a feely type of a person. People have said to me in the street that quite often when I'm doing interviews or chatting to someone, I reach over and touch someone. But it's more about me wanting you to feel comfortable and stop being nervous.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I'm not a big fan of people just coming up and saying howdy dowdy.
I am not a fan
This
of it
is
at
your story.
all.
Tell
and
us
I've been
about it.
seeing there were a bunch of articles over the last day or so about Adrian Beltran that he doesn't like to be touched in the head. And he's
Who
been
is he
having
again?
he's a baseball player. He's hit a bunch of records with, baseball. But
Baseball
he's
stuff.
made a bunch of headlines where people keep touching
Oh, he's
him
like,
on
I'm
the
sorry.
head.
No,
and
because
really
he
hates
doesn't
it.
want his hair messed up.
Well, in general,
that
he doesn't
story
want
yesterday.
anyone to touch his hair or his head or
Yeah.
anything, or anyone touching him in general.
Even
and
with
this
his
just made me
helmet on.
think, I really, really hate that when people just touch me in general. And I'm wondering what you guys think is appropriate. When someone comes up to talk to me and they were like, Katie, how are you? Nice to meet you. And they're doing this to me. I'm not listening to anything you're saying. I'm wondering why you're touching my arm. Like, it makes me feel very uncomfortable where I'm now like wondering why you're touching me. A little gesture is fine, but a lot of people, I think, are just too touchy. And when is that okay?
Well,
Yeah.
I think, I come from an Italian family, so they're all about getting all over you. Do you know what I mean? Like 2 kisses every time we meet. I kiss all my friends. It's sort of, it's
But people
very
that you
part of my
don't know
culture.
is what I mean.
Well, I think, look, on Thursday night I was texting you about those 2 women. I don't know why they were talking to me. They weren't going to get anywhere. And I kept drowning myself in the Manhattan.
Yeah,
Do you know what I
you
mean?
did. You sure did.
And she was getting a bit feely.
Was she?
And I'm thinking to myself, I've got to get out of here real quick because I thought I'd be in a bit of trouble. But I don't know. You know what? I don't really care if someone comes up and, depends where they touch you. Or
What
how
about like
the touch is.
coworkers?
Yeah, no.
You don't like it.
No, but
Me either.
you've got slight little problems about things like that. We've just determined,
That's true. That's true.
unless it's a hairy
But it
person.
just makes me feel so uncomfortable. Like, I can understand like a little gesture, but like
Yeah.
there's no reason to hold on to my arm.
I got you. What
And
about
chat
you?
with
Yeah.
me. I don't know.
You're a
I
touchy
agree.
person.
I agree with Katie. I do touch, and I'll do that. But
No,
I
but
don't
you
usually.
do hold on.
I do.
You hold on a little bit too long.
You hold on too long. It is not me. What are you talking about? But yeah,
I
when
won't
people
say
hold on
who
too long-
inspired this topic. I won't say
Yeah.
which one of them.
Yep. We won't say any names. But
Well, tell her the truth. It's her.
you do hold on a little long. But it's just you being friendly, and I know you, and I'm okay with that. But if it's somebody I don't know, yeah, get your hand off
Well,
of me. I
and
don't
it
want
also
that.
made me think about it because Dominic, one of our camera guys who works with us in our offices, every time I walk past him, I do say, "Hey, what's happening?" or "What are you doing?" and then I started thinking, is that too much? Is that because when you said
That
about this,
would annoy me.
yeah, and I'm thinking, is that annoying, Dominic? You just need to shake the camera up and down. Is it annoying that I touch you like that? Hey, what's going on and stuff like that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, he makes it feel uncomfortable.
Okay. That's a bit of a problem.
Well, we got that out there,
HR.
table talk, didn't we?
All right, well, let's just move along and I'll drown my sorrows. Hey, Old Tech Brewing will be up next to showcase some awesome Kentucky-made bourbon, which I'm excited about because I've only had bourbon in my Manhattan and a mint julep.
I
so
hope
far.
they brought their coffee beer too. There's some
Ooh,
coffee
sounds
and
good.
beer this
We'll be right back
weekend.
after this short break, everyone, with Peter Weiss.